Notts County Talk, back with another match preview. It's for the Chesterfield game on Saturday, 3 p.m. kickoff, and if it's half as interesting as the reverse fixture, we're in for a real entertaining game. You know, Notts, we've got momentum in our favour now. We're doing really well. We didn't play particularly well on Tuesday. You know, we did control possession, but, you know, we didn't really use it that well. So it'll be interesting to see how we bounce back from sort of not the best performance, but, you know, still gaining 3 points. So hopefully we can put a good performance together, keep a clean sheet, and yeah, just keep climbing the table and just go for it now.
It's another big one for Notts. We're doing the watch along, and if it's anything like the last game, it's going to be a cracker. Obviously, Notts, Rodriguez and Wootton got the late goals back at their place to finish an absolutely dire game for Notts with a win, and I hope for much more of the same this time out. Now, Chesterfield are a decent side. We always know that. We always struggle against them, go through spells where we struggle, spells where we actually beat them. So it's going to be tricky. Notts currently sit third. Fantastic. Doing really well. We're pushing up. We're coming after Torquay, which I'll go on to in a minute. And we're actually coming for Sutton as well. So Notts sitting third, 36 points. Chesterfield sit all the way down in 17th on 24 points. So a decent sized gap between the two. You'll think that means Notts are the better goal scorers and the better defenders. Actually, Chesterfield have played one game less but scored 4 goals more. Now, if you look at the top scorer list, they've actually got 3 players in that top scorer list right near the top, whereas Notts really only have Kyle Wootton up there. So they've got goals from all over the pitch. Looking at some more of the stats there, Notts sit top of the form table, 13 points out of a possible 15. Keep that up for the remainder of the season, should it go on, which I hope it does. Notts are going to win the league. Simple as that. If you keep 13 points from 15, Notts are going to win the division. Looking at Chesterfield then, 8 points from a possible 15, which I do not think is actually too bad at all. It's a decent return for Chesterfield. You know, you carry on that for the rest of the season, you might sneak playoffs, or you're going to be challenging around there. And finally, looking at a team that's not even in this fixture, Torquay, 6 points out of a possible 15. So looking at that, Torquay are sliding away. They're relying on late equalisers against teams like Wealdstone. Notts are coming for them. Notts are in form. The next 2 games, this and Stockport, absolutely huge on bearing on Notts' season. So players to look out for them for Chesterfield. I've only gone with 2 this week. I've gone with Tom Denton. Hasn't played in the last 3, but we analysed him before the last game. Big, powerful striker. I think he beat Kelly Evans in the air for his goal in the reverse fixture. He's going to have to be marshalled better than that. You can't put Kelly Evans on him. No matter how good of a player Kelly Evans is, he's not going to be able to marshal Tom Denton again without him winning headers or knockdowns in and around the box. So important player, but he hasn't played in the last 3. So we'll have to see if he features on Saturday. And the final player, Akwasi Asante. Now, this is basically Notts version of Enzio, another Dutchman. Bang in form, absolutely unbelievable form. He's got 7 in 9. Now he's recently joined, as you can see, with 9 games, but 7 in 9 for a team that aren't actually doing all that well. Sat down in 17th. That's actually incredible. He's a proven National League goal scorer. He's had goals all around. Recently with Gloucester, he's had goals with Solihull. You know, he's going to be really, really difficult for Notts to handle, and that kind of form, it's sort of the man in form in the division coming up against the informed defence. So it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out, whether he plays up against Kelly Evans or Barnett. I think, you know, that's going to be the key battle more than Tom Denton in this fixture.
But then, obviously, we've got Cal Roberts and McCrory. A little bit of news on Cal Roberts was that he's back on the grass. You know, he's itching to get back into play, and he wants to be playing this weekend. So Wadley said in the post-match. But it's unlikely. He said it's going to be the next couple of weeks, see where he's at with his training and his fitness, get some miles back into his legs. So, you know, good news. It's good to have sort of a date for when he's going to be back. We've obviously got Brinley as well, who's going to be out for around about a month with a groin injury. So hopefully, you know, we see him back soon, because it's good to have that depth in the squad. And Slocum has got 2 more games left to serve from his suspension that he picks up against Dagenham and Redbridge. So that takes us on to the team selection. Obviously in goal, I thought he slotted in really well. He did really well. Obviously he kept a clean sheet on Tuesday. Luke Pillen, you know, he pulled off some good saves, really good saves. So he's a good replacement, I think, for Slocum. So fair play to Luke Pillen. Back four, I'm just going to skip through because I think everyone will agree with me. Dion Kelly Evans right back, Lacey and Rawlinson centre back, and Barnett left back. Can't really change it in my opinion. They've been great. or that whole back four. You know, the new lad Barnett he showed his quality to slot straight into the squad. So that's the back four. Gone for the 4-2-3-1 again. Gone for Reeves and Doyle sitting in front. You know, the first 6 players on that team sheet are really easy to pick now, because you're starting to figure out who's the strongest in what position now, and it's like the team is sort of coming together, and Ardley's starting to know his best 11 now. So that's a good sign, I think. So the 3 attacking midfielders / wide men, Ruben Rodriguez in the middle has to be, I think. And either side of Ruben Rodriguez, I'd like to see Enzio and Jimmy Knowles. Both players, well, all 3 of those players are just going to make something happen in the game. You can just feel it. So yeah, and up top, Kyle Walton. Wouldn't mind seeing F Young though. I feel like he needs to be given that chance to start. He just needs game time, because he's not really had tons of game time at the minute, and I feel like a striker of his quality will be like really getting Ardley to get a start and a fair bit of game time. So I can see it happening, but I do think Kyle Walton's been fantastic this season, so I can't really see him starting over Walton unless he's tired. But it's doubted, isn't it? Because he's been an engine this season, hasn't he? Non-stop. So yeah, I'll go on to my prediction. I think we're going to win this, and we're going to win it very well. I think we're going to play some good football. I think we're going to keep a clean sheet. I'm going for 3-0 Notts. I'm going for Walton to get 1, Enzio to get 1, and Rodriguez to get 1. I will pass over to Tom for his prediction.
Score prediction. It's at home. Notts have been on fire lately. I can only see a 2-0 Notts win. Despite all their firepower, I can see Notts keeping that another clean sheet and going for the 2-0. We looked ropey against Kings Lynn, but it was one of those fixtures where even champions of any division, you get to the end of the season, doesn't look like it on the league table, but they will have had fixtures like we had against Kings Lynn in the week. I think Ardley wasn't happy. He clearly wasn't happy in his post-match. He said we got away with it. He won't let that happen again. We've seen reactions from players when Ardley's really gone into them. So for me, nothing to worry about Tuesday night. If it was to occur again, then you've got to be wondering. But this is a big game for Notts. You know, more chance to gain ground with those games in hand. And I can see 2-0. And the way it's going at the minute, I really couldn't tell you a score. I think we look dangerous all over. If I was to guess, I'll go Enzio. He's due a goal. He's looking really lively. I'll go Enzio, and I'll go an Enzio double in this one. And hopefully we're close to seeing Cal Roberts come back as well to get a bit more firepower on that pitch.